make sure it's kosher. Lean on me like Bill Withers until you smell the roses.
What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscriber die trying. You see the thumbnail, man. Why baby boomers get blamed for so much? And I said it years ago, a lot of stuff was their fault and their problem. And I guess I gotta, go down this path again. Kind of inspired by SWP. So I'm 43. Boomers would be like my parents, right? And now my parents, and their, my grandparents who passed away, my great-grandparents, seem to be a completely different set of human beings. And I'm going to tell you what I mean. Like the cost, inflation, Jim Crow, civil rights movement, all that stuff, right? Great Depression, Vietnam, all that stuff. Baby boomers, basically, as of now, they're kids who didn't really have to fight for the country, and they were given the country in great condition. And they were the Woodstock people, the free love people, let's just spend my 20s and go off and have fun type of people. Some in Vietnam, some of your most powerful people in America now that are baby boomers are people who didn't even fight for this country when they had the chance to. So it's a lot of hypocrisy, A lot of what's going on in America is this sense of, they're saying people have a sense of entitlement, which people in America do have a sense of entitlement. But you don't want to say a lot of baby boomers were entitled and they got way more than they worked for. So when you look at them, you're looking for an older generation who is old and wise. And what you're finding out is a bunch of old hedonistic idiots. And you can't figure out, are these people old? Is it Parkinson's? Is it Alzheimer's? No, they were dumb the whole time. That's what actually happened. Their parents, all this stuff we hear now, get a trust and a living trust on an LLC and get da-da-da-da-da. It was a lot of people's parents and grandparents that actually made the sacrifices to get their which would be our parents, my parents, in a nice situation in life. So people that were my great grandparents and people that were my grandparents, they did all the sacrifices. They ate less and took less and invested in their kids. They're the people who actually wind up, for people like me, like Gen Xers, when I say a lot of us were raised by our grandparents, our grandparents actually took care of the bulk of us. It was either our grandparents took care of us or we was latchkey kids. We could have been both, because our grandparents could have took care of us in the beginning and we'd be latchkey when they died. So you act, what are these boomers doing? All the hypocrisies you see in America that don't quite make sense to you, and you're trying to figure out how these politicians and lawmakers and all of these scams that these businesses have been running, you're trying to figure out, how did they get away with this? Boomers, they were blowing everything. When people mess with Donald Trump, Donald Trump, they talk about Trump in a positive and they talk about him in a negative. And the negative is, you a silver spoon kid who got handed everything by your dad. And it's like, what? You got handed everything by your dad, and they went from construction to just putting your name on buildings, and now he doesn't look like as great of a businessman as his father was. You get what I'm saying? So, you saw a lot of inheritance. Like, no disrespect, Ted Turner. Ted Turner took his dad's advertising business and turned it into a doggone conglomerate television station. You get what I'm saying? So when you think of even of people like Jeff Bezos, where did he get the money from? His parents. His startup money was his parents. A lot of these rich billionaires, they get their money from their parents. That's where they got it. It's a small amount of these people who, I came from nothing. The bulk of them, parents. The bulk of them. You get what I'm saying? So what you see is, if you look back, you start looking at a lot of baby boomers were like screw ups. You know, they failed their way up, and then their parents died. Kind of like, what's his name? Well, Queen Elizabeth died, so is that Prince King William? People didn't look at him as competent enough to be a king. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh my goodness. How is he a king? It's kind of like that. I think he's a baby boomer too, if I'm not mistaken. So it's that. They inherited a world, and because boomers, like, they got to get all the hedonism and really none of the kickback. So what I mean by that is, listen, the crack era is really blamed on Gen X, but a lot of the people participating in creating it were baby boomers. See what I'm saying? A lot of those people who cultivated all that were baby boomers. So Gen X we turned, our generation just made it violent, basically. You know, but even that was usually baby boomers. When you look at y'all like to look at all these movies and stuff about the 80s, these wasn't young people for the most part causing all these shootings and doing all this stuff. These were people in their 30s and 40s. See what I'm saying? And then you come to realize, man, damn, what are these? You know, and these are the same people. That's what I meant. You know, people born in Jim Crow and in, you know, the end of end of the civil rights movement, who somehow don't know a lick of history. They don't know anything. And then when it comes to when I say looking at the economy, you know, looking at the economy, and if you notice, baby boomers aren't practical people. That's the silent generation, or the greatest generation. They go, okay, we're not doing that. Baby boomers just keep part of that kicking the can stuff. It's baby boomers. They didn't get the can kicked to them. They weren't. That's not a responsible generation. See what I'm saying? That was a coddle generation. So when everything falls apart, which it will, because you don't see all of these people in their 60s and 70s and 80s at the helm of policy and power in this country. They ain't fixed nothing in 20 years. That's not what they do. That's not what they've ever done. You get what I'm saying? So when people look at it, it's like, wow. Baby boomers are going to be the poster child for, I just want to get rich off somebody else's work and just sit in a hotel and spend money and just live my life. Baby boomers are the most criminal generation we got right now. And what I mean by criminal, like, basically boomers have made debauchery legal. You know, they loophole their way, and this country was debaucherous and evil far before baby boomers were born. Let's just get that out the way. But now it's policy. That's why you hear, like, you try to figure out why is all this stuff working the way it is, and people are so programmed and brainwashed. A person could be dead wrong, and then somebody says some dog whistle phrase, and people go, okay, ooh, we just go with it now. It's baby boomers. Baby boomers were the beginning of the lack of morals in this country. Even though they want some of these people make America great again, they want their parents to come back. Think about it. Parenting, guidance, and common sense have been on a decline, you know, ever since the generation prior to baby boomers died off. And even some of those people that are still alive, holding on, ain't like, how y'all this stupid? Because people feel like failures. You know, I know those parents who passed away and those great grandparents. They're trying to, because their issue is this. I taught you how to survive and thrive. And you basically turned into a manipulative little punk. Because you didn't want to actually do the work. So now when you say these kids are entitled, think about it. Baby boomers who are grandparents now, they're not their grandparents. See, grandparents, like I said earlier, took care of us in Gen X. Baby boomers aren't taking care of their grandkids. No. When they want their kids to take care of them. So baby boomers were left an inheritance by their parents and grandparents. And baby boomers want basically you to blow the bag for them while they blow the bag on them. So this is why they get so much blame for everything, because they're selfish a group. They're a selfish group who throw everybody under the bus for their own selfish gain. That's what's going on. But I'm done. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.